Hello, guys. It's Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here today with none other than the beautiful, charismatic, sometimes will make me a sandwich, Yanzi. Lynn.
Hi.
And today is the day we're going to talk about crowdfunding. We're going to talk about crowdfunding comics. Can Marvel and DC step into crowdfunding as the comic book industry burns down? And here we go. So, guilty pleasure here. I'm a fan of Purchase Channel sometimes, depending on the video, and go check him out. He did a video yesterday talking about crowdfunding and why Marvel and DC just can't dadgummit do what everybody else is doing in crowdfunding. Why? And I have a list of things I want to go over. So this is kind of a response video to Purchase video, but it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. As I worked in the comic book industry for 20 some odd years, I got in going into conventions, slinging pamphlets of my paper, samples, Xeroxes, mailing them in. Nobody knew what I looked like. Nobody knew the color of my skin. Nobody knew what my check boxes were. They just saw a packet of samples, and I was either hired or not. So totally, I came in at a time of meritocracy in comics. So did the little self-publication stuff and got in that way. Did an image book, did some image work. You know, editors wanted to see what my work looked like in print, things like that, and worked into Marvel and DC Comics. So this is a weird video, and you might want to go check out Purchase video to kind of understand some of these counterpoints. But I'm going to basically ballpark some of this stuff. Crowdfunding, is it different than normal comic distribution in the sense of pre-ordering? Not really. Maybe you're waiting a little bit longer because you are purposely funding. Whereas like Marvel and DC, oftentimes these books really aren't done when retailers are ordering them, depending if they're working ahead or not. Used to the comic book industry, when I got into DC Comics, they were working 6 months ahead on everything. This was the Mike Carlin era of DC Comics. And right now, you're lucky if Marvel and DC have the first issue in the can when you're ordering the book. So by the time you're ordering 2 and 3, these things aren't drawn or written sometimes. So they pay it pretty. They play it pretty close. They don't invest a lot of capital and stuff. So with crowdfunding, though, you are banking on the creator. Now we brought up this old Archie comic where they canceled a $350,000 Kickstarter campaign. And after criticism, and some of the criticisms on this are going to apply to all these other talking points, but for memory, a lot of it was, why are we crowdfunding an Adam Hughes book? Adam Hughes doesn't own these characters. How much of the money does he get? Things like that. It became very, very messy, and Archie had to pull it down just because of creator rights type stuff. Why are these creators? Why are we crowdfunding for a corporation to do these comics? These creators aren't getting the money we're funding, and they don't own the material. So creator rights is a big issue here for a company like Marvel and DC to try to step in the crowdfunding, to be honest. Another thing he was talking about in this video, which is very interesting, is talking to customers and marketing. He's very confused by this. He thinks that Marvel and DC don't attempt to talk to people on YouTube, and that why don't they? And he brings up points that they put out 16 books a month, and he brings points that really seem like a lot of YouTubers are talking on YouTube about their books and talking to the customers. Me, myself, and personally, my experience, we have about 1,500 backers on Starlights Cat. I talk to people in live streams. I have mods. I talk to these people off the live streams. I understand their day-to-day life and stuff, things they've done for work, or what they do for work. And it's interesting because Marvel and DC can't do that. And there's a lot of reasons I want to go into that seems like, bless his heart, Perch doesn't really understand. When Marvel and DC got bought up by these big corporations like Disney or Warner Brothers, AT&T, whatever you want to call it, these companies have lots of red tape or lots of tiers you have to go through to issue statements on publishing a new initiative. You can't just talk to somebody about a Batman book, because the Batman is not just a Batman comic anymore. It's a Batman movie. It's a Batman Pop-Tart. It's a Batman this. And what if you say something that messes with Batman? So publishers, like you'll notice people like talking heads for these companies like Joe Quesada Dan Didio was one of them. And now Jim Lee, which you don't really hear much from. The reason you don't hear much from these people is they actually have to go get permission and to say whatever they're going to say. So this type of idea where the companies can just talk to people about the product they're trying to sell them, those days are numbered. But luckily enough, I want to remind Perch that Marvel actually did attempt YouTube and talking to people about publishing books. And the New Warrior video was historically one of these things, right, Yanzi?
It was, let's just say there was a lot of controversy when it dropped. Everyone was like, wait, what? This is a real book? It's not April Fool's joke? It's like, oh, wait, it was released in March. It's definitely not April Fool's joke. Look at this. 3.4K upvotes. Respectable for a video, but look at the downvotes. 144K downvotes. People are just, so that's like what, more than 1 in 4 people are saying, nope, we do not like this idea, Marvel, do not put it out. And guess what? To a corporate, that's like a big slap in the face because they already put in the money and they already hire all these people to create all these images, all these stories, all these pictures, and then now you're telling them, oh, it was a bad decision on your part, Marvel, and Marvel is like, oh, egg in the face.
So hypothetically, yes, Marvel could do YouTube, and they do, and they fail quite frankly at it for one main reason: they sell hot garbage. Okay, comparing that to crowdfunding books by creators who have genuine content that we're trying to sell people because we care about our story, our characters, because we own it, because we create it. There's a big difference between an evil corporate empire that, they're left with whatever scraps they can squeeze out of whatever orange and creator they can squeeze and beg them for a concept, an idea of a horrible, horrible character idea, or the fact that maybe it's very woke and it's very laughable content, and they think that they're look, Marvel DC, they chase hashtags, better or worse. That's what they do, and this is what so to his point, this has happened. It does happen, and it fails miserably because there really isn't a genuine good comic that these companies are trying to make right now. Okay, they're in a whole different league, trying to create intellectual IP. Chasing hashtags at the same time, and that the story, the content, the new characters, even when that stuff Marvel was producing, it was coming from creators. So basically the companies couldn't do it anyways. Okay, a corporation is just an evil vampire. Okay, that's all they are. They don't care about people. But then to say that they're going to come up in YouTube and they don't care about people to begin with, meaning they don't care about creators, they don't really care about customers, because those are both people. And to say that they're going to have a video that actually has talking points that is supposed to make you care and that type of interaction. Look, some of the product they can't really stand behind. Okay, and convince people. The most they can do is just put in a catalog and hope a retailer will order it, and then it's that retailer's job to make people care enough to buy that book. And that's sad but true. I want to talk about a couple of points here. It's also with what he's talking about here: 16 titles a week, say Marvel or DC's trying to put out. You couldn't get. Are they going to be genuine to people 16 times a week? And then next week is a whole slate of 16 new books, and they're going to be genuine and concerned and understand these people and talk to these people. No, it's just, so it's the glut, it's the weight behind it. It's too heavy. It's too heavy a load, and it's just for anything genuine to be sold. And that's the thing that I felt like Perch was missing here, is with comparing corporations and why can't they do what crowdfunding is doing is there's a genuine interaction, there's a genuine sell that's happening, and it's not that hard to be genuine when you're focused on one book and one title. And chances are, because I am focused on one book and one title at one given time, it is a better product, and a better product is easier to do a genuine sell. When you have a glut of product, I mean, you have to be a slimeball salesman because, I mean, how are you, telling people why are these 16 books important? Well, they have an event, and that brings us to event fatigue. You come up with one idea that's the event, and then you stretch that rubber band of an idea around 16 books, and then you only have to sell that one idea. And then it's like, how genuine is that? You want this one idea, you got to buy 16 books of an event. And I found that very disturbing that he doesn't understand that, but he also talks about, a lot of X-Men books, Sword of X and stuff, and how horrible that came out. So I felt he missed a point on that. And also there was this interesting point, and I get to talk about Dan Slott sausage fingers one more time. He's made a comparison between 1,500 backers and Dan Slott slinging 70K as Spider-Man. Now, I want to bring that up because that's sort of, and he even made a point that just because he sold 70,000 copies doesn't mean 70,000 people read those copies. I would actually argue that probably about 30,000 people read those copies. And we don't even know if 30,000 people actually read those books or just they're collecting every issue of Spider-Man. And so what is the genuine read? And I don't know. It's that data is you can't really compare it. Now, 1,500 is all, is a lot less, but 1,500 is something that I feel like I can build off of as somebody who's done both corporate comics and that. I'd rather have 1,500 genuine people in my corner than a hypothetical number on a downsliding market, to be honest. Because I feel like I can build off of that 1,500 people, and I can easily manage and talk and care about those 1,500 people and live stream to those 1,500 people. Now, if it was 70,000 people, that'd be great too. But there's no way I'm going to understand all 70,000 people's name. It's just a little bit impossible. But he also was talking about outreach and YouTube and stuff like that. And you have to understand that's a big driver in a lot of this for us to talk to people. And you're talking about live streams. And that's something, again, Marvel and DC can't do because they may get hit with a weird question because they do a lot of bad, But I really also want to bring up the creator rights part. And I want to bring up the Berserker campaign on this one. So Marvel and DC, they basically prosper from page rates, right? They pay a page, and however much sales it is, you maybe get a royalty after you sell, like you get $1 royalty after you sell 40,000 copies or something like that. So it's the idea of Marvel and DC coming into crowdfunding. You have to understand these big corporations were kind of gatekeepers for people to even be published to begin with. First, you have to understand that if you want to be published in comics at one point in time, like when I got into comics, I had to go do Marvel and DC for the world to even be able to see my pages, right? I'm talking this is before things like Instagram or Webtoons or anything like that. Now, of course, anybody can get their artwork seen with the internet today, and it's kind of revolutionary, but it's kind of now ticking up into crowdfunding, and Marvel and DC Comics coming into crowdfunding, they're no longer gatekeepers to being published. So what incentive would a creator have working on a Marvel and DC book? A page rate? Okay, fine. What if the campaign makes, in the case of Berserker, like, $1.4 million was my $200 page rate? Did I just get raped in an alley in front of the whole entire world? Most likely. Am I getting a fair percentage of the campaign? Absolutely not. How does that feel as an artist? Horrible. The nightmare of Marvel and DC, if I just openly spoke about that, would be devastating. Okay, marketing wise, they would be like, oh my God, no, what are we gonna do? He can't let the world know he only got paid like $10,000, and we made something upticking like $1.4 million. Like, that looks horrible. And that's the thing that, there's that optic, but there's also the reason why, as me as a creator, why would I even put myself in that position? And because they're no longer gatekeeping publishing, I can just go run my own crowdfunder, and maybe I'll make less, but I can build off of that. See, one of the things is the email list. That's what the real value of these things is. And again, this is right back to the interaction with customers. If I go take a page rate and I work on a Marvel book, I'm not going to get that email list. I'm not getting anywhere. Now maybe the world sees my artwork because it's tied to Spider-Man or something, but the chances are these people are now going to follow me on social media, maybe. But this is what's interesting. Maybe I barely have an incentive for a bum deal on a Marvel crowdfunding book. And I've actually had creators try to get me to pitch to do a crowdfunding book at Marvel. Okay. So this was talked about years ago. I said no. I said I'm not going to pitch for that because what I should get a fair percentage, and I'm not going to work for a page rate for a crowdfunding thing. And I would think most artists that have to put the most time in making a comic and producing it would say absolutely no to it. Now, the only pro would be like people discover me, and then I have an incentive to do one book to be discovered. Hopefully they start following me on social media, and then I'm out of Dodge and doing my own crowdfund. And honestly, I don't know if I would do that. Like myself, maybe a new artist would want to do that. And that's a situational thing. But even that is Marvel's dependent on a new artist wanting to do that just to be discovered on social media. And right now, you could just draw a Spider-Man and put up on your social media and tag it, and maybe you'll get the same type of follow, hypothetically. I don't know if being a part of a big campaign is going to service you as an artist. So again, this is me as an artist who worked in the comic book industry for 20 odd years, a person who has a crowdfunder up right now, Starlight Cats, but bam, getting ready to hit $113,000. One backer away, actually. One backer will set us over 113 plus. So everybody's getting a new double-sided poster with that. Thank you guys for all your support, and hit like, hit subscribe. Please go check out Purchase video for the reference. If you want, go check out, sub to his channel, and we will catch you guys again with another video.